Hey guys, how are you? Hello. Now today I'm talking about Crown Zenith. It has actually been one whole year since Crown Zenith dropped. Crown Zenith is personally, well, in my opinion, one of my favorite sets in all of Pokemon's history. It is absolutely incredible. One way I always think of Crown Zenith is if it wasn't so overprinted and readily available and you just looked at the card artworks, this thing should be way above Evolving Skies. In my opinion, it is absolutely sensational. I mean, when I'm looking at some of these cards, like the artworks are just crazy, man. Like I'm looking at, look at that Deoxys VMAX. It's just such a nice card. Really, like I'm looking at, like, you've got Orbeetle at the top. The artworks stand out. They have such a unique stylistic approach about them. They have this galaxy feel. They feel kind of out of this world. When we're looking at Mewtwo VSTAR, just look at that. Super cool card. I mean, it's the different point of view from the actual the Charizard, I think, came in the UPC. And this is kind of the opposite version. I mean, like, just such an awesome card. Love it. It's in my collection for sure. And then, just some of the artworks that they just, my personal favorite actually out of the whole set is Luminion V. I love this artwork. Just stands out. I actually pulled this one myself. I was so happy. It's a really cool card. And in person, it just pops. Like you look at it and you're like, damn, that's super nice. But when I'm looking down, I mean, then you had, like, they had all their cards. They had the trainer gallery. They had all that, but they had what was really standout was those 4 gold cards. You had the Palkia VSTAR, Origin Form Dialga, Giratina VSTAR, and of course Arceus VSTAR. But, out of all these, Giratina was kind of the one that outshined them all, which is fair enough. It's a really cool artwork and it's very unique. But in terms of Crown Zenith and what I think of it, when I came out, I was like, this set is going to be hyped. I think it was coming off one of the highest points of the TCG. It's definitely slowed down. Even in 1 year, the hobby's definitely, wouldn't say quieted down per se, but it's been left to collectors, and true fans are sort of the ones that are staying around, whereas some of the people that came in during the era, which they just wanted to come in, are kind of off and gone. But I'm kind of looking at this and I wanted to go through some pricing and just look at the market and how it's performed over the years. Now, I am going to be talking in USD, but sometimes I'll be talking also in Australian dollars. So if I do mention dollary dues, I will make sure that there's a converter at the bottom so you're not confused. It depends on what I'm talking about, but if I do talk about Australian dollars, I'll be sure to edit in the conversion rate, so don't stress. All right, so let's just go into it. And the first one off the bat, I've got Luminion V here. Super cool card, but I wanted to see how this performed. I thought this was going to perform really crazy. Let's go. We've got one whole year of data, and this is actually really good to see. So you can see this started at 17 US. It was priced quite high, but it kind of just dipped incredibly straight away in March. And then we keep going all the way, and right now it's sitting at a nice 9 US. So you can pick that up for 15 Oz. Really cool card, and it's actually a pretty good time, I'd imagine, to get this card. Like, how much cheaper can they go? I know some stocks. There's actually still a lot of stock on the market, so they are getting ripped. But it's only a matter of time until all of that's kind of exhausted. Looking at this, Zacian V, awesome card. This one was competing with Zamazenta, and Zamazenta was it did not do as well. But you can see this one kind of held its ground. It was holding all the way to May, and then it had a very steep decline. And now it's kind of at this $10 mark, which I didn't think it would get to. I'm actually quite surprised how hard it's crashed, particularly because it's such a cool artwork and it's super unique. Looking at the Mewtwo VSTAR, this card is just, man, they nailed it. Like I just said before, if Crown Zenith, if it wasn't so overprinted and you saw these artworks, I don't think anything really compares, and I don't think anything's really compared since then. And it's one of the best sets that's ever been released, and I just can't believe. But you can see what we got here. It is like flatlining at the moment. So let's just go on to a year. This card started off super expensive out the floodgates, 93, and it went down to here. Now, in May, I did buy this. I think it was right before May, for around 75 Australian, which I thought was a really good deal. But yeah, as you can see now, like it's continued to kind of go down this downward trajectory. I don't know. I've never pulled this one, but I've got a feeling it is hard to pull. I've seen a lot of people pull it, but you know, the market's kind of saying it's not. So there we go. We got this at $46 at the moment, US that is. And then of course you've got the Origin Form Dialga VSTAR Secret Rare. Super cool card, really cool composition. I love how it's in the top right frame. Really balances the card out. Looks really good. But now we're going here and check this out. This card went like it didn't make sense. $66 straight off the bat. Everyone's like, whoa, this is going to be... I thought that the gold cards were going to be super, super hard. I thought we were going to have another kind of, similar to the Giratina from Lost Origin. I thought that they were going to be very hard to get at market value. But again, I was wrong, and I was very glad that I'm wrong because right now it's how it should be. Because when cards come to the market, it's usually very good advice not to buy straight away. But that kind of got flipped on its head during the Sword and Shield era because what happened was cards would come on the market and you couldn't pick how high they would go. You know, we had this with the Giratina from Lost Origin. We had this with the Moonbryon. And all the EV sets actually from Evolving Skies, they came in and just kept growing and growing and growing. So if you didn't catch it early, you didn't know how high they could actually rise. But thankfully, and this is much better because, you know, patience works much better in these circumstances. And we can even see like here, good, if you bought it last year when it came out and if you were hot for $66, well, it would be like 100 Australian, you know, right now you can get it for 33 US, you know, around 50 Oz. Which is really good. You can get that, and you know, it's an awesome card. Then we got the Origin Form Palkia VSTAR. We can also see $60, kind of crashed quite heavily, and it's sitting at that 32 mark at the moment, US. It's kind of now had this little thing. Let's close that up, and you can see right here, if we really magnify it, it is kind of going. I mean, it's gone up by $7, $8. And then we got the Arceus VSTAR, another really, really cool card. Artwork is sensational, and that I think that's what made Crown Zenith so unique was the way that they infused this kind of, I don't know what the art direction or what their team was thinking with it, but they had such a cool galaxy feel to Crown Zenith, and that's my favorite thing about it. It kind of feels like, I don't know if you guys have played Mario Galaxy, it kind of feels like the card set out of that game. It's just such a unique twist on Pokemon cards that they don't do enough of, and the fact that they did it, I really can't fault Crown Zenith in terms of its artworks. They just went out. Like, they obviously wanted to end on the bang, and not only that, when you think of the Sword and Shield era as a whole, when we look at Sword and Shield, it is gonna be such a nostalgic set. You've got the Nintendo Switch, which is one of the highest selling consoles of all time. When we look at Crown Zenith as a whole, I think the reason why they wanted to go so hard on Crown Zenith was because it's the last set of Sword and Shield. What I mean by that is it's one of the... Sword and Shield was such an iconic set. It kind of put Pokemon TCG back in everyone's heads. Anyway, and now we're going on to the Giratina VSTAR Secret Rare. This card is cool, man. And what is so unique about the Giratina VSTAR is how they presented the composition of Giratina in the card. It is not your standard, hey, here's Giratina, here's an angle. It's got this upside down, almost kind of chaotic feel to it. It feels like a horror movie. Like it's not I wouldn't say this is a, like, even, how can I put it, a cute or kid-friendly card. I mean, it is a really cool artwork. And like, that's how I always look at these collecting cards. I love the art. I mean, even if they're not going, I kind of see it as like art collectibles. And the way, I've never seen an artwork like this for Giratina. They really experimented. It was a super experimental style that they did. I really can't talk highly enough about it. But when I'm looking at it, man, it's good. The coloring, the gray that they did on it, how the gold borders look with it. Love the kind of, I don't know what it is on the bottom. Is it like, it feels like it's some sort of like tree pattern or network that's connecting him. And I don't know if you can see, you know, being a professional in videography and photography, I just love the composition. If you guys look at the bottom there, and then how that bottom sways into the top of Giratina, you've got this almost opposite compositions happening. You've got the top of where the legs and arms are going, and it's kind of mirroring that on the bottom. It just really, really well done. They really nailed it. And look, it's easily one of my favorite cards out of the set. Just love how it is. The colors look really good. And I have to be honest. I am super, super surprised at the price. Yes, it's had this little, I mean, if I close it in, it's gone up a little bit, but it's sitting at 75 US. For a card that's the main chase of the set, man, that's cheap. Like, in comparison to what we've seen and what we kind of have now with Scarlet and Violet, this is a really, really affordable card, and one of my favorites as well. So no, definitely, I mean, I'm thinking about getting this one in PSA 10. I don't have it, but it looks like that might be on the agenda. Then they had a little bit of their Glaceon VSTAR. I don't know. When I looked at the Glaceon, I was like, are they trying to do like another Evolving Skies? Get the EV fans kind of back in. Really cool card though. Really well done. Love the setting of it. And again, you can see that it's kind of started and it's crashed, and it's kind of now at 17. But I wouldn't even know if that's a crash. I think it's an overhype when people don't know what the pull rates are going to be like. People usually jump in, and now we can see that the pull rates are quite liberal on these, so they're not too hard to pull. And same thing with the Leafeon, really awesome card as well. Love the setting of it. And yeah, same thing, it kind of drops and is sitting at $20. Another thing that we can look at, and what I always like to do is pop reports as well, when I'm looking at the Giratina full art. So here we go. We're with the English version of the full art Giratina, secret rare. Man, 8,186 have been sent in, and you've got 4,656 PSA 10s. Quite a nice PSA 10 turnaround. It's quite likely that if you do send it in, it would be a 10, which is really good. Quality control is quite good on that, man. Look, as an investment vehicle, where I think Crown Zenith sits, we've got kind of a two-way approach. I think this is going to be the set that people come back to and say, wow, we did not notice what we had. I just encourage you to check out the artworks. That is the best way. It's not even about the rarity. Sometimes it's about how good these cards look and how good they're going to look in a binder. If you put these trainer galleries in a binder, they pop. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people wanting to collect these master sets. And once it's gone, it's going to be one of those sets that people just go, damn, I feel like I didn't appreciate it enough in its time. And so when I'm looking at all these, I do think Crown Zenith has a very, very prosperous future. Like I said, it is my favorite set that's kind of ever come out in the Pokemon TCG. And it's purely because of the artworks and how experimental they went. I really like that. I like it when they go, when they take it a bit out of left field. I don't like just doing the common things. They really nailed it. So look, for me, I'm definitely a fan of Crown Zenith. I can't predict the future, but just all things are pointing to it. It's going to be a really, really cool set to look out for. So no, it's definitely my collection, and definitely I might be grabbing a few PSA 10s of some gold cards. I've kind of waited, and I think now's a good time to jump in. I'm just kind of thinking, it doesn't seem like it could drop much lower. But no, let me know what you guys think. I really love making the video, and like I said, subscribe to the channel. It's a new channel, so I'm just here talking about, cards, collecting, hobbies, follow along, and yeah, we can go from there. All the best. I'll see you in the next video.